getting it. I think Elon Musk believes he's president.
You're like, wait a second, like, come on, man, this is too.
Elon Musk's lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg and The View is shaping up to be one of the most polarizing legal battles in recent memory. The tech mogul has filed an $80 million defamation lawsuit accusing Goldberg and her co-hosts of spreading misinformation and making harmful, baseless claims about him. Central to the lawsuit are remarks Goldberg made on air, suggesting that Musk and J.D. Vance were conspiring to manipulate government control if Donald Trump were removed from office.
Okay, I need to clean something up because my cat lays in wait for me on my stairs all the time.
The allegations have ignited widespread debates about media accountability, free speech, and ethical journalism. Now, with Goldberg's tearful responses and unusual attempts to downplay the situation, including a bizarre reference to her cat, the controversy has only deepened. Goldberg's emotional reaction to the lawsuit has been widely circulated. In a tearful explanation, she insisted that her comments were never meant to harm Musk and claimed that they were taken out of context. In a now infamous attempt to explain herself, Goldberg said, "Okay, I need to clean something up because my cat lays in wait for me on my stairs all the time, and that's what I was thinking of. I wasn't trying to indicate that they were actually standing there with their legs out, hoping he would trip." However, many have dismissed her explanation as a weak deflection. Critics argue that her remarks, whether meant in jest or not, were reckless given the platform's reach. Musk's legal team has taken a hard stance, arguing that Goldberg's comments were not only
I hardly ever say, I don't remember the last time we even talked about JD. You're right.
He's planning the presidency when they get rid of Trump.
So you think it's Musk Vance?
Possible.
By filing this lawsuit, Musk is aiming to hold media figures accountable for what he perceives as their reckless disregard for the truth. His supporters have rallied behind him, viewing the case as a necessary pushback against misinformation. However, critics of Musk warn that the lawsuit could set a dangerous precedent, potentially stifling free speech and making it harder for media personalities to engage in candid discussions. The debate over this case has also spilled onto social media, where the hashtags #SupportElon and Cancel The View have been trending. Supporters of Musk argue that The View has a long history of making inflammatory and unfounded claims about public figures, and that this lawsuit could serve as a wake-up call for the show to prioritize accuracy over sensationalism. On the other hand, Goldberg's defenders believe that the lawsuit is a heavy-handed tactic by a billionaire to silence his critics. The stark divide in public opinion highlights the broader cultural and political tensions surrounding the role of media in shaping public discourse. Goldberg's tearful apology has done little to quell the controversy. Many question whether her remorse is genuine or a calculated attempt to avoid the potential fallout from Musk's lawsuit. Her explanation about her cat has only added to the spectacle, with some mocking her for using such a trivial excuse to downplay the seriousness of the accusations. Meanwhile, Musk's legal team remains firm in their stance, emphasizing that the lawsuit is not about stifling free speech, but rather about ensuring accountability for false and damaging statements. The lawsuit has also brought renewed scrutiny to The View, a show that has long been criticized for prioritizing sensationalism over facts. Critics argue that the program often targets high-profile individuals to boost ratings without fully considering the consequences of its statements. Musk's lawsuit is just the latest in a series of controversies that have plagued the show. Calls to cancel The View have resurfaced, with detractors accusing it of fostering division and misinformation under the guise of entertainment. However, some argue that cancellation is not the answer, and that implementing stricter fact-checking processes and editorial standards would be a more constructive approach. One of the most controversial aspects of Musk's lawsuit is the accusation that Goldberg's remarks incited violence. During an episode of The View, Goldberg made a comment about someone potentially tripping Donald Trump, which Musk's team argues could be interpreted as encouraging harm. Goldberg later tried to downplay the statement, saying it was a lighthearted joke about her cat. Critics of Musk's lawsuit argue that this claim stretches the interpretation of Goldberg's words and risks stifling humor and satire. However, Musk's supporters stress the importance of holding media figures accountable for their words, especially in today's politically charged climate. The outcome of this case could have far-reaching implications for media accountability. If Musk prevails, it could set a precedent for public figures seeking legal recourse against media outlets for defamatory statements. This could lead to a reevaluation of how talk shows handle controversial topics and ensure that their content meets higher standards of accuracy and fairness. On the other hand, if Goldberg and The View are vindicated, it could reinforce the importance of protecting free speech, even when the remarks in question are controversial or unpopular. Adding to the controversy are resurfaced clips of Goldberg praising Donald Trump in the past. In one notable instance, she referred to him as a friend and warmly welcomed him on the show. Critics of The View argue that these clips highlight the show's inconsistency and opportunism, accusing it of shifting its narrative to align with political trends. Musk's supporters have seized on these clips to question the show's credibility and integrity, arguing that it prioritizes sensationalism over authenticity. Meanwhile, Goldberg's defenders dismiss these arguments, suggesting that people's opinions naturally evolve over time. The case has also reignited discussions about media bias, particularly in outlets like ABC, which produces The View. Critics argue that the show often promotes narratives aligned with its political leanings at the expense of balanced reporting. Musk's lawsuit, coupled with Goldberg's tearful defense, has underscored the growing mistrust of traditional media and the demand for reforms to ensure fair and accurate reporting. Supporters of Musk believe that his legal action could force networks to adopt stricter editorial standards, while critics worry that it could lead to censorship and stifle open dialogue. Goldberg's emotional breakdown and
I've been saying it for a while.
Yes, you have.
I've been saying that I think Elon Musk believes he's president. I do.
has been met with widespread skepticism, with many seeing it as an attempt to avoid taking responsibility for her words. Whether her tears reflect genuine remorse or a strategic move to mitigate legal consequences, they have done little to quell the public backlash. At its core, this lawsuit is about more than just defamation. It's about reshaping the media landscape.
But when you have deliberate, concerted, repeated pushing of hoaxes, you're like, wait a second, like, come on, man, this is too far.
And damaging behavior from the media. Whether this case ultimately succeeds or fails, it has already sparked important conversations about the role of journalism in a polarized society. Goldberg's tearful apologies, Musk's unwavering stance, and the broader implications of this lawsuit will undoubtedly keep it in the public eye for some time. As the case unfolds, it will serve as a litmus test for how society navigates the delicate balance between free speech and accountability. Whether Musk's lawsuit results in significant changes to media practices or merely becomes another flashpoint in the ongoing cultural debate, its impact will be felt across the industry. In the end, this lawsuit highlights the growing demand for transparency, fairness, and accountability in media. While Goldberg's tearful defenses and bizarre cat explanation may have provided some momentary entertainment, they also underscore the serious implications of reckless statements made on influential platforms. The outcome of this case could shape the future of media ethics and set new standards for how public figures and media outlets interact. For now, the public remains divided, with some rallying behind Musk's call for accountability and others defending Goldberg's right to free speech. Regardless of the final verdict, this case has already left an indelible mark on the ongoing conversation about media responsibility and the power of words in shaping public perception.